When LeBron James and the Cavaliers got swept by the Warriors in this year's NBA Finals, most Cavs fans worried deeply that this was their last chance to see him play in a Cavs uniform. And that fear was a suitable feeling, considering he informed the Cavaliers a day early that he will not sign his option to remain in Cleveland. So let's look at what choice LeBron has in front of him and which would be the best fit. The way it's shaking out, there are really only two choices for LeBron: Philadelphia and Los Angeles. If he goes to Philly, would the big three of Simmons, Embiid, and LeBron be enough to overcome Boston and get to the finals? Without question, the LeBron-Embiid pick and roll could cause havoc for the defense, as Embiid could pop out and open up space for LeBron to create an open shot from anywhere on the court, as well as open up driving lanes for easy baskets right at the hoop. Or Embiid could roll hard to the basket and catch lobs all day, as the defense would have to react to the ball first. Imagine Embiid posting up and commanding a ton of attention, allowing LeBron to time a perfect cut to the basket, grab the nice pass, and finish strong over the defense. For the first time in a while, LeBron would be able to get easy shots consistently by running Brett Brown's motion offense. The odd man out would be Simmons, who has no capability to stretch the floor and needs the ball in his hands as much as LeBron does to be effective. He'd be great cutting off ball and getting set up by James, but a lot of his magic vision goes away. It's possible LeBron would cede some of his ball handling usage to Simmons, but it just feels unlikely. If Philly wanted to end this debate and skip right to being the finals favorites, they'd trade for Kawhi Leonard, most likely giving up Dario Saric, Robert Covington, and at least a first-round pick. With Leonard's connection to former Spurs assistant and current Sixers head coach Brett Brown, it's possible he'd opt to stay in Philadelphia after this season. And when you add into that lineup, you'd have Simmons, Kawhi, LeBron, Embiid, and ideally Redick coming back on a much smaller deal, but happy to play with such talent to free him up for open threes. Spacing shouldn't be a huge issue since everyone can shoot except for Simmons, and I suspect LeBron would have to give up the reins more than he's accustomed to in order to get the most out of Simmons. It's a pretty switchy lineup on defense, and they'd only have to cover for Redick, which seems doable, but I can't help but think there's something missing with this group. They'd have to fill out the bench with minimum salaries, and while they should get to the NBA Finals, I'm just not sold they'd be able to beat the Warriors or the Rockets. You can see how effortless these players are with their scoring and shooting, and you too can get there with the help of my free on-court video demonstrating a killer way to get open for threes and how to knock them down with ease. Click on the link in the description below to get your free video now. Remember, LeBron's no longer a young phenom in the prime of his career, so he can't afford to waste a year waiting for young talent to develop, which is precisely why the Lakers only sign him if there are some all-star level veterans ready to join. The Spurs have lots of leverage and will demand a hefty price to trade Kawhi Leonard to a Western Conference team, so I imagine the Lakers would have to part with Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, and a first-round pick. I would hope the Lakers keep Lonzo Ball in this scenario, since he gives them the kind of switchability defensively if they put together a lineup of Ball, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, and, say, Thomas Bryant at center. Which brings us to Paul George, who has made it clear for years that he wants to come back home and play for the Lakers. He has opted out of his contract with the Thunder, and while it doesn't mean he won't return there, judging by last year's OKC team, there's a hard ceiling on how far they can go in the playoffs. It would be easy to imagine LeBron in the Lakers uniform with tons of shooting around him, enabling him to get a ball screen from the center, then kick out to his choice of Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Lonzo Ball, or even Brook Lopez from behind the arc. While Ball ended up with a low three-point percentage, he had long stretches where he was over 40% from three, and with LeBron feeding him, I have no doubt that percentage will go up. Likewise, imagine his gravity sucking in the defense to allow Paul George to get great looks from deep, or break guys down off the dribble as he attacks the closeout. This is basically the same idea with Kawhi Leonard, and teams wouldn't have enough long and athletic defenders to contain all of this action. Now imagine if LeBron became the ball screener and allowed Lonzo Ball the option to be creative, something he showed quite a bit of last year. LeBron would actually get easier scores than ever, as the floor spacing would be so wide, all he'd have to do is roll to the basket. And if he wasn't open, it means PG's man had to bump down to help, enabling awesome skip passes from Lonzo for days. With Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Lonzo Ball alongside him, LeBron could continue to conserve energy on the defensive end, while the big three make it hard on an offense to get easy looks. The biggest issue would be at center, which is why convincing Brook Lopez to take a lot less money is imperative. Perhaps after a long career on bad teams, Lopez would be willing to take a pay cut to be part of something special, and his minutes on the floor would make it almost impossible for the opponent's defense to stop them. He grabs rebounds, protects the rim, hits threes, and can post up. One problem is that they'd have to let Julius Randle go, who's coming off a very promising season and someone who would have really helped the Lakers off the bench. They'd have to hope Ivica Zubac can find some of his rookie year magic. I really like Josh Hart, but they'd be forced to fill out their bench with minimum deals for aging veterans. Guys like Marco Bellinelli and Seth Curry are unrestricted free agent shooters, but it still leaves them very top-heavy. This choice should be a very difficult one for LeBron. If he isn't chasing a title next year, then LA should be his choice, for lifestyle and family reasons as much as the basketball. If he's determined to gun for more rings, then Philly gives him the best shot if they can trade for Kawhi Leonard. But that would risk hurting Ben Simmons' development into a top 10 player in the NBA. And I just don't think it's worth it, since the Sixers can get to the promised land on their own with the way they're going. Overall, it seems like both teams can put similar talent around him, and without question, it would be easier for the Sixers to sign LeBron and trade for Kawhi. But if Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka can somehow pull off all three of these deals in one swoop, and since LeBron's family likes LA, I don't think he'll pass up the opportunity. After all, it's good to be the king. Sports fans, make sure to hit the subscribe button and adjust your settings so you can get notified immediately when we drop another great NBA video. Let us know how you feel with a thumbs up and a comment. After all, at BBallBreakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?